I started meditating about 30 years ago. I learned my first meditation techniques from my first martial arts teacher. So the single point in mind meditation technique is a very powerful concentration technique for meditation. And it involves concentrating on particular chakras. And the chakras are energy centers in our energy body. Not only do you develop concentration and the ability to hold your mind still, but once you become adept at this particular meditation technique on the chakras, you can raise the Kundalini energy. And the Kundalini energy is a very powerful energy of transformation.
Hola amigos! We're back with day 9 of the 30 days to raise your frequency. And we're doing a guided meditation momentarily. So we'll wait for a few of my friends to join us and we'll get on here and we'll raise that frequency. So what's it all about? You know, we're all coming into meditation in this group from different backgrounds, different experience levels, you know, different languages. There's all sorts of differences that we all have, but we have one thing in common. We love meditation. We're interested in meditation, and there's just something about this meditation stuff that intrigues us. You know, what is it? So, the 30 days to raise your frequency, for those of you who are new to the group, is part and parcel of the 30-day challenges that I put out for the group. 30-day challenge, man. Whoa, that's heavy. Well, it's for good reason and good purpose. So, in order to really derive the benefits of meditation, we need to practice on a regular basis. Just like any type of skill, any type of art form, if you don't practice on a regular basis, you're never going to get better. You're never going to get good at it. And meditation is the kind of thing where you can practice every day and push it really hard, and there's no drawbacks to that. It's not like if I was to go to the gym and work out really hard every single day, eventually I'm going to overtrain, I'm going to get tired, I'm going to get weaker. So you have to take some days off to rest, recover, because the physical body works on different principles than, say, the mental body or the emotional body. So what are you talking about, man? I thought we only had one body. Well, we are multi-dimensional beings. You could call it one body with various levels, with various dimensions to it. So when I talk about meditation, and when we practice this meditation technique, which we're about to do momentarily, I touch on 3 different dimensions, 3 main dimensions of the body. The total body, the totality of who we are, the multi-dimensional being of who we are. Of course, we have the physical body, and we have the physical senses. Beyond that, the next level up, and the physical body would be what would be in the 3D, the third dimension, solidity. We've got solid, liquid, and gas, and plasma within the 3D realm. Next up, we've got the 4D realm, the 4th dimension. The 4th dimension is a dimension of non-physicality, of energy, of we experience the 4th dimension through dreaming, through the astral plane. We can access it through emotion, through feeling. So what this meditation technique does is it improves your ability to feel. And I'm not talking about feeling like one of the 5 senses of touch. I'm talking about feeling energy, sensing energy, what I call the 6th sense. So you're developing this ability that's very similar to our intuition. We all know that intuition feeling. When we get that feeling that something just isn't right. And oftentimes, unfortunately, we ignore that feeling, don't we? And we go with what the mind is telling us. No, everything's going to be okay. The mind likes to reassure and ignore the intuitive interpretation of what is, of our experience. But with practice, we can learn to decipher between the intuition and the mental process, if you will. So one of the things that this meditation does is it gives you that ability to decipher and read and feel energies more accurately, of which the intuition is part of that scale. Beyond the energy body, which would be the fourth dimension, you have the mental body. And this is the body that is thinking all the thoughts, visualizing, having images. It's the memory. This is all thought stuff. So what we're seeking to do here is to move beyond the five senses. Move beyond that mental chatter. Move beyond even the ideas of who and what we think we are. Who and what we think the world is. Because in meditation, if we're not able to, just for a moment, put aside ideas, put aside thoughts, you will be limited by those thoughts and ideas. So if we always think that we have an idea of, what's going on or what's happening, you limit yourself to that idea. If we constantly define ourselves as, well, I'm a this, or I believe in that, or this is the way that I am, these thoughts and definitions of the self can be very limiting, ultimately. And in meditation, we seek to go beyond limitation. Because we know, truly, we feel that in our hearts we are unlimited beings. And that's not just BS. We know that life is a miracle. I mean, look around. Despite the circumstance, there's beauty in the world. Nature, the sun is shining, spring has sprung, the birds are singing, the bees and the bugs are all buzzing. And so life is a cycle. Life is a beautiful experience. And what happens is when we're born into a world like this, when we're born into a world of limitation, when we're taught, when we're indoctrinated, when we're educated, when we're imprinted with all the thought forms, the ideas, societal structures, the culture, the language, all of these things create a limited view because we begin to view the world through these structures, through these limited structures. So what meditation does is it gives us a glimpse beyond limitation, because when we slow down the thoughts, when we clear the emotions, we're able to perceive life clearly. We're able to perceive life directly and without those filters, without those limited ways of perceiving. Starting to get the idea here, my friends? Awesome. And I'm so glad you're joining me here today. Kudos to you for those of you who have come on every day. We're on day 9 now of the 30 days to raise your frequency. So if you've been tracking with me every day with this meditation technique, you're probably starting to get pretty good at it. And it's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of desire. Oh, Rob, I heard you're supposed to get rid of all desire. Well, if the desire is leading to an unhealthy attachment that is unhealthy for you in some sort of way, then yes, those are the type of desires that we need to keep in check. But if there is a desire to go beyond the limitation, if there is a desire, a need to transcend this limitation, a need to know what is beyond the limitations of thought, the limitations of mind, our limited perception, then that's a good desire. There should be a desire when you meditate. Because otherwise, why would you meditate? You want to change something about yourself. You want to change your mind. You want to become happy, right? So how do we become happy? Well, what we realize is what's causing our unhappiness. Because the truth is that we're already happiness. Happiness is the core of our being. All the truth, all the goodness, all the godliness, all the universal bliss is right there. It's at the core of our being. And remember, these are just ways of talking about it. I am using a language, English language right now, to create utterances that we understand. I'm putting out these vibrational frequencies with my voice that you are receiving through your ears through the computer right now. And your ability to decipher these utterances that I'm making is a product of our indoctrination. It's a product of our education. It's a product of our understanding of language and how it works. But in truth, we could communicate telepathically. Well, we just have to regain that ability. Now, that might be going off on a tangent a little bit right now, but the truth is that happiness is who and what we are. I mean, we have all these words, we have all these divisions, we have all these categories and catalogs and categorizations and definitions of all these things that separate everything out to the minutest little detail. Because as human beings, that's what we like to do. We like to divide and conquer. We like to define and categorize. Because we feel that amongst the chaos that is this existence, and it is chaos, that if we can bring a little bit of order to that chaos, it makes us feel better. And this is the product of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of that chaos. What lies beyond the known? You know, we all like to stay on what's called the island of the known. But surrounding that island is a vast ocean. And we can only see to the horizon. And what's beyond that? Who knows? There be monsters. Who knows what's out there, right? Well, I want to know. And so this is why we meditate. To know, to find out, to go beyond that island of the known. You know, what is the island of the known? Well, it's the routine. It's the habits. It's the tendencies. It's the thoughts. It's the ideas of the world that we have. That the world is a certain place. That we live in a certain town, state, country, continent, planet, solar system, galaxy. It's all been named. It's all been discovered. There's nothing new, right? Science has figured it all out. Yeah. Sure, that's what they want us to believe, because it makes us feel more comfortable, because we can wake up and we can become productive citizens of the society that keeps us limited. Now, I'm not saying everything is bad about society. Of course, it's good to have a good career, a good home, a nice car, a family. It's good to have hobbies. It's good to have interests. It's good to make some money, and enjoy what the physical life has to offer. And surely I am a firm believer that we should be well balanced in terms of our physical as well as our spiritual sides. Because, you've probably seen these people that are just way too unbalanced in the spiritual side, and the physical side, they kind of ignore it. For me, it seems as if they're all one. Both spiritual and physical. The physical is a manifestation of our non-physical sides. So, again, happiness is at our core. We are already happy. So why don't I feel happy though? Well, the problem is the tendencies. The problem is the energetic contraction that is occurring right now, that is cutting you off from that bliss, that surrender. And this is merely a tendency. This is merely a habit or an attachment. And remember, my good old friends, attachment is what causes suffering. So a wise man once said. Makes sense to me. Because what we learn in meditation is that, gosh, I do have all these attachments. And it's not necessarily my attachment to food or my attachment to, whatever. It's the attachment that our awareness, that our attention has to our senses. We're locked up. And this is just a byproduct of habit. So what this meditation technique is designed to do is to release us from these attachments. Because what we do is we, with our willpower, discipline ourselves. We discipline where our attention is going. Instead of just letting our attention go willy-nilly. I love that word, willy-nilly. Probably because it rhymes. Instead of letting our attention just be scattered among crazy thoughts, stuff that's not really serving us, what we seek to do is make the mind more efficient. Because when the attention is scattered among all the thoughts, the tendencies to drift, to think, to just let it go where it will, there's a big energy loss there. And let me tell you a secret. Raising your frequency, getting up to these higher dimensions, having higher dimensional experiences or clearer perception, rising above, is all about energy. If we don't have a certain amount of energy, nothing's going to happen. Case in point, we all know how we feel when we're energized, when we're feeling good. It's easy to be happy, right? And when we're not feeling well, like let's say we're ill, it's difficult to be happy because we're just so trapped. We're so caught up in the feeling of our bodies. We're so caught up in the thoughts of our mind. So part of the trick is releasing this trapped energy, this trapped attention. Because remember, if everything is energy, when I talk about attention, when I talk about focus, we're just bringing energy to energy. Eventually energy will resume, will consume, will re-enter itself as if there's only one. And this is what this meditation process does. And this is why raising our frequency is important. Because do I want to merge with this table? Not necessarily. It doesn't sound like a good time to me. Do I want to merge with light? That sounds a little more interesting to me. Light, love, energy. You know? What is light? Why is there a sun? And why is there an earth? Remember, we live within a duality, a construct, that there has to be some sort of a polarity in order for existence to occur. You know, yin and yang, positive and negative. This is why a battery has the two poles, the polarity, north and south. The electromagnetic field, electricity, magnetism, female, male. These all are the polarities of life that really are just designed that way for existence, for creation to occur. Without extremes, without defining extremes, you cannot have a middle. So without going too far off track, because I can definitely tend to do that, what this meditation is designed to do is bring you from that separate state of consciousness into a unity consciousness. Remember, yoga means union, to join our seemingly separate state of consciousness with the consciousness of the universe, with the totality. And the consciousness of the universe, if you will, and again, these are just words that I'm using to try to guide and create a picture. The consciousness, the source of all things, is everywhere and nowhere. Wow, you're really throwing me off here, Rob. I don't get it. Of course you do. I give you guys a lot of weird, crazy concepts, but I think you understand. In that it's right here, right now. So when I say that happiness is at our core, it truly is. We're made up of happiness. We're made up of bliss. So why aren't I happy? Why aren't I experiencing bliss? Well, this is simply due to the fact that your thoughts are running rampant. Your attention is all over the place. It's scattered among the crazy thoughts, the images. And when we seek to discipline our attention and hold it in a certain place, we discover just how undisciplined our minds are. So I'm sorry to say, my friends, that in the beginning, yes, it's true. Meditation does require some effort. True meditation. Because, gosh, what are we really seeking to do here? Go beyond the limitations of mind? You mean I can't just sit down and focus on my breath, Rob? And get to that and overcome the limitations of mind? Well, maybe you could if you're someone who's truly adept at meditation. You could probably just sit and do any technique. But why would someone be adept at meditation and someone wouldn't be? Why are there beginners and why are there experienced people? I talk about this a lot. This has to do with not only the current life experience, like, I don't know, somebody who's been meditating for a while may have a little bit more proficiency, a little bit more understanding about meditation. Or if you believe in reincarnation, here's the secret. Many of you have been meditating for many lives, many lifetimes. Yeah? Can I get a like? Even if you don't remember your past lives, there's a reason why you're attracted to meditation. There's a reason why you're attracted to self-discovery. There's a reason why you are and not everyone else is. Why is everybody else going out to McDonald's? Listening to that crazy hip-hop music. I got nothing against hip-hop. I'm actually a producer of music. But you get what I'm saying. Why are there differences among people on this planet? Well, this is due to the fact that we all have many different past lives. Some of us are new souls. Some of us are what we call old souls. We've been around. You've probably practiced meditation before, if you're interested in meditation in this life. Yeah, it's a popular subject, and a lot of people are seeking relief from just anxiety. A lot of people are seeking relief from stress. And they're just, they tried everything else, and it just didn't work for them. So they, they're just looking for any type of thing that works. And then there are others who are more on, like, say, a spiritual journey, who are seeking meditation for something. And maybe they can't put their finger on it, but they know that there's something to this meditation stuff that, even if they don't fully understand why or how, they know that there's something to this meditation stuff that is the answer. Because they know that the answer is not out there. The answer is not necessarily in here, because what is in here? In here, in my body? Well, in my body are a bunch of organs and such. So when we talk about where is the center, it's very important to understand the vibrational frequency and what that really truly means when it comes to a multi-dimensional creation. We are multi-dimensional beings. And we live within a multi-dimensional being or creation. You can call yourself a human, but that's just a word. Follow me here for a moment. You can call yourself whatever you want, but they're just words. You can talk about whatever you want, but they're just words. This is why I come on and meditate. And I tell you, don't listen to a word I say, because it might be the one thing that confuses you, throws you off, turns you off. What I suggest is just watching me meditate. Not that I'm a great meditator, I'm okay. But what you should notice is that the process of meditation is what works. The process of meditation is the important thing. The ability to become still, even for a second, is worth all that effort. So what do you say, folks? Let's get to the meditation today, huh? I'm all about it. You about it? Let's get it. Couple suggestions. If you're looking for a good meditation teacher, you should always check out their resume. Who was their teacher? Do they have a lineage? How long have they been meditating? How many different types of meditation techniques do they know? And lastly, and perhaps one that's perhaps overlooked a little bit too much, Maybe there's a couple more, but do they have a sense of humor? Because when you reach a certain view of life, everything takes on a certain sense of humor. And if you're super serious, and if you're someone who just talks in a monotone voice, and you have to wear this sort of like spiritual robe and the spiritual necklace and this, be careful out there. There's a lot of people who play the role, and then there's a lot of people who just do what they do. I don't consider myself in anything or in anybody. I call myself a teacher because that's what I do. I teach. I feel that you listen and like me because I communicate well. I've been teaching martial arts for a long, long time, and I look at meditation as martial arts on a different level of our ability. It's no different than holding the horse stance. With the discipline, the ability to overcome the tendency, I don't want to sit here anymore, but I'm going to keep holding that horse stance or whatever. It's the martial arts analogy. It's no different than holding the mind still at a certain point. It's just another level of ourselves. It's just another aspect of ourselves. So, with that said, I've been thinking about this. I want to offer a more in-depth program for you guys, especially you guys have been coming on every day and seem to like this particular technique, the 5 steps to stillness. And I'm going to call it Concentration to Consciousness. It's going to be a membership group. It's going to go month to month. It's going to be $30 a month. I'm thinking of probably just waiting to launch that until the end of this 30 days to raise your frequency. This 30 days to raise your frequency, I wanted to come on here and do it for free for you guys because we need it at this time. We need to raise our frequencies. We need to elevate our moods. Just to give ourselves something to look forward to every day while we're kind of isolated in our homes. The ability to meditate. Let's work on the thing that we came here to do. But for those of you who feel some sort of a attraction to this particular technique, I'm going to be offering the Concentration to Consciousness membership group. It's going to be a reoccurring membership, $30 a month. It's $1 a day. And I'll come on, and I've done this before. I did it for 1 month back on the New Year. It was very successful. I came on, we do group coaching calls once a month. We do guided meditations. I have a separate private Facebook group just for group members where you get any questions answered. You can also message me and get any questions answered. And there's a lot of questions because as a martial arts teacher, as a meditation teacher, what my approach is to give you the technique, see how you do with it after a week or two, and then see what questions you have, because you can't coach someone until they kind of have gotten their feet wet a little bit with the technique. Does that make sense? Of course. So, you have to have some sort of a context. You have to have some sort of a vocabulary to speak with the student, to speak with the teacher. Oh, how is that 5th step going? What is your experience? How is your ability to hold your mind still on a chakra going? What are you feeling? What are you... what's blocking you? Let's look at your lifestyle, because a lot of what meditation, successful meditation is the other 23 hours of the day. What are you eating? What is your exercise? What is your mindfulness throughout the day? What is your intake of media? All these things matter. And this is why right living is so important. Right speech, right living. These are all guides to help us to get to where we want to be, which is happy, right? So all of this is very important. The lifestyle that we do, how we interact with others. Is there a way to interact with others without losing energy, even if it's someone that we don't really particularly care to interact with? Is there a way to do that effortlessly without getting caught up in whatever's going on? So there's a lot to know, and I love it. I love sharing what I know, because honestly, in my opinion, I don't think there's anything really more important than than the spiritual journey, than self-discovery. Obviously, meditation is the key. So let's get to the meditation, shall we? Of course, you are here, and we're doing the 5 steps to stillness meditation. 5 steps. Step number 1, gazing at the yantra. Why do I love the yantra? Because it works. The yantra is available for download at the top of the group. It's a free diagram. You simply download it, you simply print it out, and then you simply stare at the center dot. Couldn't get much easier than that. There's a dot right in the middle here. You've probably seen it, but I'm just going to show it to you again for those of you who haven't seen it in the group yet. You stare directly at that dot and you hold your mind there. What this does is it brings your attention to a very fine point. And why is that important? Well, because our attention is all over the place and it's very scattered. And what is high frequency? High frequency is the point, the high point. So what we're doing is we're taking our mind from going around in circles down here in the large circle base. It's a slow wavelength. That's a slow frequency. It's a low frequency. When the mind is scattered, when the emotions are low, when there's fear, when there's concern and worry, these are all lower mind states. These are low frequencies. So what we seek to do with holding our mind still at one point is we go to the highest possible frequency right away. Because I believe in direct. No messing around. We go right to it and we hold our attention on it. Now, the hard part, as you've probably experienced, the difficult part I should say, the challenging part, is holding your mind there. Because what happens? The attention creeps back into the thoughts and starts to be distracted by all that stuff in the mind. So what we seek to do is hold our minds, hold our attention still at that central dot of the yantra. It's a great warm-up. Then step 2, we move into the navel chakra. Now when we move into the chakras, we got step 2, navel, step 3, heart, and step 4, third eye chakras. What we're doing there is we're bringing our attention to the chakras and we're feeling the spot. We're sensing the energy around that spot. Now, there's a few steps to this process because in the beginning, if your chakras aren't already open, if your energy body is kind of still in a numb, dormant state, the chakras might be kind of closed up, so it might be difficult to feel. But have faith, my friends. Hold your attention there, because where your attention is, energy accumulates. Energy will bring itself to that area where you're holding your mind at. And what energy does, energy acts as a awakening to the chakra. It's energized and it opens up. And when the chakra begins to open, you'll start to feel perhaps a little tingling, perhaps a cool sensation, like there's some energy flow. It might be a heat. There's all sorts of little signals that indicate that you're on the right track. Now, when the chakra actually opens up, trust me, you'll have no trouble feeling it, because especially with the heart chakra, it's absolute bliss. It's absolute ecstasy. It feels like you're just in love for the first time. Or you're having an orgasm out of your chest, or whatever it might feel. So you definitely can't miss that. And we move up. And as we move up, what's happening is we're raising the Kundalini energy. It's not as if we're raising it. It just raises automatically. We're not forcing it. It just automatically raises to where you're holding your mind. It's amazing. Because what's happening is we're making our mind very refined. We're holding it at a point. When I hold it on the chakra, you can kind of imagine what sort of surface area. I'm holding it at a very fine point here. But then I might kind of like, okay, once you start feeling it, then what do? Well, you can kind of like probe its depths, if you will. Kind of like get in there, feel it. You can kind of expand, without getting too in depth about this, you can kind of like move your awareness around and kind of start to feel deeper into the chakra, because the chakra is non-physical. There's no limit to how deep the chakras go. They're doorways. They're both entrances and exits, if you will. Transmitters and receivers. So, as we move up, we are raising the Kundalini energy. Now, the Kundalini energy is the energy of evolution. Most people's Kundalini energy is way locked up down in the root chakra and in the sex chakra. They're very concerned about survival, sex, food, this kind of stuff, like lower survival type tendencies, reproduction. The navel chakra, as we move up, it's a little bit higher. It's power. It's like the power of martial arts, if you will. That. Then as we move up, the energy transmutes, it transforms, it refines. We ourselves are energy transmuters. We are alchemists. We're energetic alchemists. Alchemy is the art of transmuting lead into gold. We ourselves transmute the raw energy into higher, more refined, purified energy, chi, and then spirit. And remember, it's all one. It's all just energy. But what is refinement? Is raising the frequency. So as the energy is moving up, we ourselves, our energy body, our perceptual body, the frequency rises to a very high point. And remember, stillness is the highest frequency. Perfect stillness. Okay? So we move into the fifth step at the end. And the fifth step is the time to just let it all go, let it all hang loose, and just allow what we've already sort of begun to reach its fulfillment. Now, what does that particularly mean? Well, I'll leave it up to you, because what happens is that our intuition kind of guides us at that point. But a couple tips and tricks. The fifth step, while I like to leave it mostly instructionless, because I feel the less we talk about it, the better. But the process is really simple. You're just letting go. You're surrendering. In the process of surrender, what does surrender mean? It's the opposite of control. Prior to the fifth step, it's all about control. It's control, holding our attention perfectly still, feeling that chakra. When the mind wanders, bringing it back. This develops a very strong willpower, a very strong concentration. And later it could develop all sorts of cool things, but we're not concerned about that. Like Siddha powers, but I'm certainly not there yet. But there are masters who absolutely are. Of course, I learned this technique from a meditation master. Now, the fifth step is the step toward meditation. We're moving beyond concentration and we're into meditation. And what we want to do is just dissolve into the already always existing source or higher consciousness that is here now. So we're coming from concentration to consciousness. Makes sense? All right, here we go. We can talk about it or we can do it. I'm all about doing it. Let's do it. Here we go, pulling up the music. Now again, normally I meditate to silence. If the music feels a little bit distracting at first, just try to ignore it. When the mind wanders and wants to listen to the music, just bring it right back to the chakra. Hey, if this happens a million times within that one step, you just keep bringing it back. The minute it wavers, bring it back, bring it back. You might have to quickly bring it back a million times. Okay? Trust me. I know. Let's go. Back straight, seated in your chair, sitting on the floor. Take a big, deep breath. Here we go. Let go of all attachment to everything that's going on right now. Let go of the world. Let go of yourself. Let go of any ideas of meditation or anything. We begin by warming up our concentration, focusing on the yantra. Keep your eyes centered on that dot. When it wanders, bring it right back. If you're focusing on another object, same process. If you don't have any objects, just listen to the music for the first step and focus just on the music. When the mind wanders, bring your mind back to the music. Here we go. Now moving on to step 2. Place the fingertip just about an inch below your belly button. Press gently and bring your attention to the navel chakra. You want to feel the energy at that spot. Feel free to hold your finger there the entire time, if that's what helps, or periodically bring your finger back to touch that spot in order to reconnect with your attention. But once you've established a connection and you're feeling that spot, when you're ready, move the finger away and hold your attention on feeling that navel chakra. When the mind wanders, simply bring it back. If it takes many times bringing the mind back to that spot, that's okay. That's how we get better. Here we go. Now move your attention up to the heart chakra. Place the tips of the fingers gently in the center of the chest. Feel that spot. Try to hold your body still. Try to hold your mind still. Try to hold your emotions still. mind wanders, just bring it back to the spot. Try to hold it still, really try hard. Once you've locked on and established the feeling connection, remove your finger and hold your attention at the heart chakra. Feel the energy. Breathe naturally. Now move up to the third eye. Gently place the fingertip between the eyebrows and slightly above. Feel that gentle pressure. That's the feeling that you want to maintain when you pull the finger away. Try to lock on and hold it there as long as you can. Relax any muscular tension in the face and the forehead. Just hold your mind still and feel the spot. Now release all control. Surrender to the stillness that you feel. Release any energetic contractions or blockages that you might feel. Breathe naturally. All right, very nice. Always feels good. Yeah. Ugh. How are you feeling out there? What I'm interested in knowing is what are some of the challenges that you're coming across in this meditation? What are some of the experiences you're having? And especially with the fifth step. Once we get to the fifth step, I'm curious as to, how that's going for you. Any particular experiences that you want to share? Any questions that you have? While you got me on. Obviously, we're only doing 20 minutes. We're just getting still by that fifth step. And what I notice is the transcendence of familiarity, the transcendence of the known. Especially in that fifth step, there's a process going on where if we continue to surrender, there's this sense that awareness is kind of rising. And it can feel as if it's even rising out of the top of our heads. That's a good thing. Because normally our awareness, our attention is so compacted, it's so contracted. Our energy is so bound to the body. And you can feel that. You can feel like, oh, why am I feeling so tense? Little by little, we're allowing that to be released and to let go. And this is a process of faith. This is a process of trust, because what lies beyond that, what lies beyond the familiar, is the unknown. It's that ocean that surrounds the known. And this is how we become more expanded. This is how we become more enlightened, is by moving beyond the known, by moving beyond who we think we are, our views of the world, our thoughts, our ways of perception. Little by little, each day, we gradually transcend the self-limitations. And it feels damn good. Thank you, my friends. Another great meditation. And we'll see you in the next one, all right? Have a great day. Take care.